everybody, Zong gets 134 here.
I'm Average Joe Squad as always.
And welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen.
A very cheesy breadstick edition.
Which is kind of hilarious because we just got done filming one yesterday, but when this comes up, it'll be next week. But the thing about Pennsylvania weather is it'll be nice for a couple of days.
So we decided we got to capitalize on this nice weather.
And then it'll be real shitty the rest of the week. So...
thankfully, we have enough episodes planned out and ahead.
Oh, yeah. We actually have, like, notebooks of episodes.
That and I just religiously write notebooks.
Unfortunately, that means we won't be getting to the... because we're not doing the Raiders of the Lost script like I said last episode. That's coming next week. Basically because we have to read it. Well, you have to read it. I found it and I just started reading it. I was like, I'm only going to read, like, half of it.
And it's like, oh man, this is the page turner.
Oh, it really is. I'm sad it didn't get made, but we'll talk more about that on that episode. That's a story for another time. But tonight we've got something special. So we call ourselves Remember the Hyphen in reference to Spider-Man, and I noticed like the last 2 months of episodes have been almost nothing but Batman or random things we were talking about. So.
Well, after Spidey Miss, we wanted to try to switch it up a bit. And Mobat November.
Yeah, I mean, we did, but like at the same time, we are still called Remember the Hyphen. So I do feel like we should at least have like a Spidey thing every once in a while. So anyway, we're going to do a top 10 Spidey suits. And as a twist... that aren't the
red and blue.
Well, for the most part.
We're not going to do this as a Watch Mojo thing where they claim to do that and they had the red and blue suit on there 3 times and be like, oh, well, this is the Raimi suit and this is the TASM suit. I'm like, they're the same damn suit.
This is also a treat because it's not just us doing each a top 10.
We kind of collaborated for a top 10 on this one.
Yeah.
I actually made one in advance thinking we were just doing separate ones. And when he looked at mine, he's like, this is actually really close to what I was going to do.
And I was like, you know what? I didn't feel like trying to argue ones, but I mean, granted, I did switch a couple up just because I didn't think it would be right for some of them to be where they were. So.
And just remember this again, this is personal preference. Disagree with it all you want.
And in fact, if you want, in the comments, tell us your favorite Spider-Man costumes that aren't the traditional red and blues. You're more than welcome to. Oh, and I think we also switched 2 and 1. Or maybe, I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay.
But anyway, so again, sit back, enjoy the show.
And why don't you start off with number 10, because it's really the one that's your definitive one, apparently.
Oh, yeah. So starting at number 10, this is one of my favorites. And yes, it's a meme, but I like it because it really just is a great updated version of what we see in Amazing 15. And that is the human spider suit from the first Raimi film when he goes to fight, oh crap! The name is eluding me.
Bonesaw McGraw.
Well, it's either
Bonesaw or Crusher Hogan.
Yeah, it flip flops.
Well, they changed his name for the movie because they weren't afraid that it'd be too close to Hulk Hogan and they might get sued over it.
So they got Randy Savage to be Bonesaw McGraw, which is just funny.
Which, to be fair, I kind of like Bonesaw more than Crusher, anyways. Unless you've read that Tangled Web issue where it turns out Spider-Man ruined his life.
What are you doing up there?
I can't disagree with you because I actually really do love his human spider costume.
I'm the human spider. That's it. This is the best you got.
Oh, that sucks.
That sucks.
It's very simple. It's just like it's just blue sweatpants and a red hoodie with
what's in black spray paint. The symbol of his.
But like it really, really works. And in my opinion, he could have worn that for like the whole first film, like not have like his traditional costume, and I would have been okay with it. I actually kind of.
It would have made sense.
It would have made more sense. Like for me, it's really weird how he even has the costume because like he just gets it in a montage, and I'm like.
The scriptwriters helped him, but
yeah. Like, did he make it?
Granted, that's obviously a thing that when they did Amazing Spider-Man 1, they addressed that he ordered it. But like I said, I really love it because it's very iconic. It's something that I've loved since childhood, since I loved that movie. And as well, it's a great updated version of what we see in Amazing 15 with the wrestling suit he has in that. It's actually very close too. I want to say.
The only difference is he basically puts like a web mask on over his face with webbing, and then he wears basically just sweatpants and jogging leggings.
It was the 60s.
Well, then, like, he was really just there to be like, I'm gonna just test my powers out. Like, he didn't do it to like get famous or anything. He was just like, this will be a good
money.
Well, no, in the movie he did. In the comic, he's like, well, you know, I need to test my powers. So he basically just entered this wrestling thing just to see how far he could go. If I were to say anything bad about that,
and he wanted to get a car to press MJ.
It's the movie.
We're talking about the movie.
I was talking about Amazing Fantasy because you brought up Amazing Fantasy. But yeah, no, if I were to have any complaints with that suit, I'd honestly argue I'm not a big fan of the gloves he wears because they're just they don't really mesh with the rest of the costume, and it's cobbled together.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I get where you're coming from.
I kind of wish that they were like blue or red, like more red than white.
Yeah,
but other than that, and that's just a nitpick, if anything. All right, moving on to number 9. We have the Future Foundation suit, the suit that he wore during his tenure on the Future Foundation, aka the Fantastic Four.
After Johnny Storm was killed.
After Johnny Storm was killed, and everyone's like, how dare you decide for us to be called the Fantastic Four without Johnny? Which I'm like, you guys have been called the Fantastic Four and you weren't all even in it.
Yeah.
And that's more of that's a thing I hated with Slott with his writing of this, because like Spidey shows up in a pre-made Fantastic Four costume, and they're like, how could you do that? I'm like, well, really? That seems needlessly dickish to Spidey, you know, really. like Johnny's best friend. But the suit has grown on me. I remember when it first came out, I hated it, but like I was like like in my early 20s, and B, I was like that time in Spider-Man's life, I was just like, oh, now he's a member of the Avengers and the Fantastic Four. This is bullshit.
I really liked it, especially in the PS4 game. I feel like it works really well for the PS4.
It does. And I think it does. Like I said, it has grown. I like the spider logo that's on it. I like the fact that his lens pieces are black.
I was just about to say
that actually works really well.
Are really good.
And overall, I like the fact that he can technically make it be whatever costume he wants it to be because it's unstable molecules.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I can't really complain too much of it. My really only complaint is that it's kind of confusing when he just got Anti-Venom introduced into the comics. So it's like, and
they look really, really similar.
Yeah, they look really, really similar. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on the Future Foundation suit.
Yeah, so number 9, we have number 8, my bad. Yeah. We have the Scarlet Spider suit. This is the original one that Ben Reilly wore, you know, the red undersuit with the blue hoodie.
Oh, I love that hoodie. I actually have a Spider-Man hoodie from Amazing 2 that's blue, and I like to pretend that that's Riley's
basically what it would be like in that universe.
Yeah. Again, I know people complain about that costume, but I think it looks really cool, and it makes more sense that
I like the little lug pouch he has, too.
Yeah. No, and for me, it actually looks more like something Peter would have made if you know, because even in the 60s, I doubted a 16-year-old could sew a suit like that.
Yeah. But, I don't like it as much as Ben's other suit, which we'll get to later. I still like it because to me it's a very iconic thing. That's kind of what I think of when I think of Ben Reilly.
Yeah.
Whereas with the other one, I typically try to think more of like May.
Yeah.
That's just because I know May for wearing that suit more.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I think people get more hung up on his name as the Scarlet Spider than the actual costume.
I'm the Scarlet Spider.
Well, first of all, he didn't even name himself that. That was some guy on the Daily Bugle was like, well, he's wearing all red, so he's the Scarlet Spider, obviously. And he just stuck with it because he's like, well, I don't got a better name, so. This is one of the many costumes I like where the web shooters are outside the costume. I actually like the look of the web shooters, like they're more bulky and they're thicker, and I kind of like that they're. I
do too, and I really like that May kept those.
Oh yeah,
Spider-Girl.
For me, it makes sense because those are clearly much more durable than the traditional web shooter.
Yeah.
And also the fact that they can shoot impact webbing balls, they can shoot stingers, tracers, like they're much more versatile in my opinion than the traditional web shooter. Which I mean, granted, Peter has improved a lot on them. Also, they're probably my favorite version of the web shooters, even more so than like Amazing's version of the web shooters. Because I admit those were pretty nice looking web shooters.
Yeah.
They're certainly that better than random like hover tech that just attached to his wrists somehow.
They all pale in comparison to the organic web shooters, in my opinion.
That's like your opinion, man.
Go web, go.
All right, so I guess you could argue anything with that costume.
Yeah, you really can.
It's really kind of ridiculous that he wears a hoodie over the whole One Piece thing. Honestly, I can't really say I don't like it though, because like I like both versions of the Scarlet Spider suit, like this one and the Kane one, just because they look really cool. But then again,
the Kane one especially.
Oh, the Kane, like one of these days I need to let you
I'm
borrow
surprised we didn't put that on this list.
We'll save it as an honorable mention. And to be fair, like I think the original Scarlet Spider is more iconic than his anyway. So yeah. I would have he probably wouldn't have gotten onto the top 10 anyways if he did. Like I love Kane, but like, you know, at the end of the day, it's just an all red and black Spider-Man costume.
Yeah. So moving on to number 7,
the Spidey Unlimited, which is for those of you who don't know about this super old cartoon that lasted a season.
That's bloody fucking amazing.
It is.
I love Spider-Man Unlimited. I know Spider-Man Unlimited is one of those shows in Spidey mythos that kind of, you're either on the side of you like it or you don't. I don't really see much middle ground on that. I really love it, but that's because I watched it as a kid, and when I watched it, this suit was like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, so basically...
And I remember playing the PC game at the time, Spider-Man, or otherwise known as the PS1 game for most people. And it had that suit in it. I was like, oh my god, it's got this suit in it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's because it came out around the same time.
Yeah.
And also the Spider-Man in that is the same as the Spider-Man in Spider-Man Unlimited, voice acting wise. So for those of you who don't know the plot of Spider-Man Unlimited, Peter is sent into an alternate dimension on the opposite side of the sun, which leads to another Earth called Counter Earth, ran by the High Evolutionary, where he has his animal men, these weird animal-human hybrids that are like the dominant species of Earth, of Counter Earth, because he's charged with finding J. Jonah Jameson's son, who got trapped in that black hole, as well as Venom and Carnage, who are ridiculously creepy looking in this version.
Oh my god,
reason.
they're terrifying.
Did they ever explain why Venom and Carnage look so?
They probably do. Offhand, I can't remember why.
I want to say it's because like they're I think because of there's like a symbiote queen or something like that they're working for.
Hey, again, I can't remember. It's been so long. Plus, it's kind of a it's such a little piece of detail.
Yeah, but basically, in order to go on this mission, he went to Reed Richards, who builds him this pseudo armor / like nanite suit.
It's got like invisibility on it, which it's kind of like it's a lot like the Batman Beyond suit, honestly, which, to be fair, this show was really kind of Marvel's answer to Batman Beyond. I
argue they were more going for trying to do a 2099 suit without being 2099, because like...
But you can certainly see the Batman Beyond influence.
I do get that, but I'm trying to more say that, like, while they were trying to compete with Batman Beyond, they wanted to do something that was like 2099, but not, because like they were like, if we do 2099, everyone's going to be like, well, we're copying Batman Beyond. Yeah. Even though 2099 came before Beyond, but
yeah, that's just how the media works.
That's just how the media works. I will admit, I do have a soft spot for the suit. I like the yellow lens pieces. I like the web cape that he has. That I think he can use as like an airfoil.
I believe so. I believe
he can glide. He can do with it. He can also emits sonic pulses in order to help him fight symbiotes.
I really like the spider design on the chest.
I do like the spider design.
Where it links with each other. I really have always liked that. I have a very soft spot for this suit, honestly.
I do like
to the point that when I started buying Spidey costumes after I bought my Raimi and my symbiote one, this is one I've looked into getting just because. And granted, I found one, but it's super expensive. And B, it doesn't come with the cape, so it had to make the cape, because if I'm gonna do this, you gotta have the cape. But I digress.
Really do. If I were to say there's anything I could complain about it, I do think it's a little too busy. But that's mostly just because, like, as someone who loves the traditional Spider-Man costume, I honestly think the traditional red and blues are very perfect. It's the right amount of red.
There's not too much going on, but it's not too simple.
It's intricate but not busy, which, in my opinion, is like, if you're gonna make a superhero costume look intricate, it can't look so intricate that like my eye doesn't want to like focus on one thing. And then this, it is kind of a little busy, but not overtly so. I think it helps that like there's not like a web pattern on it. It's just mixing of the white, the red, and the blues.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's really my only complaint with the suit. It honestly looks really good. I also love the fact that it technically is his clothes, and so if he needs to add more web fluid, he literally just puts it on the thing, and then the webbing gets absorbed into the clothes.
Yeah, and for those who haven't watched this show, I certainly recommend giving it a go. I think it's only 13 episodes, and it's actually on Disney Plus now.
Yeah.
And a lot better quality than the rips I got off of archive.org, but give it a shot. For me, it's at least worth giving it a shot.
I suppose come Spidey-ness, we might have to just watch that show again and just.
I'd be down.
Then I'd like to give it another chance because like I only remember watching the first 3 episodes that were released on Fox Kids, and then seeing when they marathoned it for Jetix when Disney got the rights to Spider-Man back, or the animation rights basically.
Yeah.
So yeah,
there's an idea. Spider-Man Unlimited retrospective.
Well, I especially love the creators of that show on Twitter. They're like, if we done a season 2, he'd go back to regular Earth and he'd be wearing. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. Like the whole point of the whole plot of that series is for him being on Counter Earth.
Well, it's always interesting when show creators will do that. Like the creators of X-Men Evolution have said that they would have made X-23 gay, and then they also would have probably done Dark Phoenix at some point. How exactly they would have done Dark Phoenix in X-Men Evolution, I don't know, but it's always interesting when you hear stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, with it coming so many years after after the fact, it's hard to tell if that's like, well, that's just them being like, well, yeah, we would have done this, but they probably wouldn't have, if not just because of studio interference.
Yeah. Well, like, especially to me, like that.
Especially with the time period.
Well, then just the fact that the whole premise of Spider-Man Unlimited is that he's going to Counter Earth. It wouldn't have, like, especially because of the fact that, like, John doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay there to help the humans fight against the Animen and the High Evolutionary. To say nothing of the fact that, like, I think one of those episodes, like, the dude mutates Spider-Man into being, like, a part man, part spider thing again. Which I don't know what it is with cartoons and obsessing with turning him into man spider.
Easy plot medicine, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, anyway, this is not the Spider-Man Unlimited. This is top 10. All right, so we were on 6, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we did. We were on 7. Now we're on number 6, which is Miles Morales Spider-Man, aka Kid Arachnid. For those of you who only watch the Disney stuff. I really can't say much. Like it's basically Miles's version of the Spider-Man costume.
I like how, as someone who like red is my favorite color, I really like how the red and black colors really work together. It looks very unique. Like, you can tell that they definitely drew some inspiration from the symbiote suit, but they really made it that it's Miles' own suit. It's not very reminiscent of something that too closely, but at the same time, it has enough uniqueness to it.
Yeah, I like that the bodysuit is very different, but I like that at the end of the day, his mask is still traditionally Spider-Man. So it really hammers home that he wants to be Spider-Man. Honestly, not much more I can say that. It's pretty perfect, really. Yeah, and
I mean, I love the one they have in the comics, and I also love the variation they have on it with Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
with the spray painted symbol.
Yeah, no, I love like both versions of it. I kind of wish they would actually give him that symbol just permanently, because I think it even gives him even more flavor in his costume.
Yeah, a little more uniqueness, basically. They might end up doing that. Who knows?
I also really love him wearing that suit while still wearing like his street clothes on underneath it in Spider-Verse. I actually thought that looked really cool.
Same here, actually.
I do really love when Spider characters just put on the mask over their street clothes, or just the mask and the gloves. I don't know why. It just looks really. It's just a fun like image, I guess.
So number 5 is the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, so we say, but remember the Hyphen? You said you weren't going to do any traditional red and blue costume. Yeah, well, we lied a little.
This is one exception, but
and to be fair,
I make a case for it purely because of the eyepieces, which are unique to the show.
If you have a problem with it, send it to Vault Reviews, care of P.O. Box.
Jesus, I won't start getting hate mail.
Don't actually do that.
That's how I end up with a bomb in the mail.
We're kidding.
But for those who don't know, this is from the Nicholas Hammond led Spider-Man TV show, the late 70s. And I've always when I first saw this suit as a kid, I thought this was the stupidest looking suit I'd ever seen. Like, it looked like something they had hobbled together.
It really does.
It really does, but it's really grown on me a lot. I really like the eyepieces. To me, the eyepieces are so unique to this costume, and I think that's probably why I like it so much. It's just it has enough of the familiarness of the original red and blue, but it has its own little take on it.
Doesn't it also have a web shooter outside of it and like?
Yeah, it does, and it also has a belt.
Yeah.
So it's a little different. Again, it's still technically the red and blue, but
I mean,
there's enough flavor to it that you could argue for it.
I will admit, I like the look of the eyepieces. Like it certainly stands out in terms of Spider-Man costumes. At least doesn't give him the stupid, really small eyes that sometimes I do not like Spider-Man masks where the eyes are needlessly small. It looks really weird.
The only time I like those is with Japanese Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Which oddly enough is not on here, but
we're eventually gonna do a retrospective on that.
Because like this is the only tokusatsu I can get him to watch, basically. Honestly, I can't really add more. I think the only things I do complain about that is I'm not a big fan of the belt outside of the suit. It's just a weird look.
I gotta ask, when you saw that on this list, what was your first thought? You were like, yeah, I knew you were gonna put it on.
Honestly, yeah. I was like, oh, we're gonna get Nicholas Hammond on here. I said alternate versions of Spider-Man, but whatever, okay. But yeah, like, it's not a bad suit. It's for being one of the first attempts of doing a live-action Spider-Man, it's at least competently done, even though it looks like they hobbled together from some supplies at Spirit Holiday Store.
That and Stanley didn't like this show, basically. No.
He personally endorsed the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie and Howard the Duck. But this, personally ashamed. But to be fair,
I don't get, because honestly, I've watched it. I have it on DVD. It's not that bad. For those wondering, you can't get it officially. You have to buy it as a bootleg. I bought it off eBay for like $20.
I think it comes down to the fact that how much they changed from Stan's work. I think is basically the problem he had with it. Because say what you will about the changes to like the Incredible Hulk, at the end of the day, it's still pretty much the Incredible Hulk. Like it's still he goes from town to town. He turns into the Hulk. He realizes he can't be with people, so he leaves.
He gets a different actor every movie.
Well, that's more a problem with the movies than
yeah.
But I think a lot of it just comes down to he was doing that, and not only that, he loves the Toei version just because which is weird because it changes so much to the point where that's not even Peter.
I think in a way it was so unique that it was lovable.
Well, I think it was so unique. I think he liked how the Japanese adapted it. I think one of the reasons I'm Stan in that regard. If you're gonna just completely change the concept, make it your own. That's one of the reasons why I like Japanese Spider-Man, because it literally is him with a giant robot and fighting like Kamen Rider villains. It's so unique that it doesn't hurt it. With the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man, I think they changed so much. I think he's not even called Peter Parker in that.
No, he is.
Oh, he is called Peter Parker?
Yeah, he's called Peter Parker.
I couldn't remember. It changes
one of these days you and I will have to just watch it.
Like I said,
again, I don't think it's nearly as bad as everybody makes it out to be.
No, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Stan himself personally said he was not happy with it. Moving on. Number 3, we have the Spider Armor. So, for those of you who don't know, in Web of Spider-Man issue, I think 100?
Yeah, issue 100 with the holographic cover. I have that issue.
When he was fighting this band of villains who had the Dragon Man, who's not really a dragon or a man, he's a robot. Peter, I think, almost gets beat to death, basically. So, in order to protect himself, he makes a pseudo-metallic armor made from, a special version of his web fluid. And basically creates a silver and black metal armor for him to fight with. Which
would later appear in the Spider Wars episodes of the animated series.
Where it
also shows up as a power-up in the PS1 game.
Where I love it in Spider Wars because it's literally just an Iron Man armor, except that it shoots missiles and has rocket boots.
One of my favorite things ever was that I really became accustomed with this suit through the PS1 game, and I've played that game so much to this day. I remember that when you pick that up the first time, it's because of the power up. It's during the bank hostage level. It's the second level where you're rescuing hostages. It's the same one where you got to throw the bomb in the bomb in the vault.
Yeah.
There's a vent, and if you web up to it and go in it, you can pick up this power up, and it gives you the spider armor. Mm-hmm. And it's got that dialogue where he's like, "I never really used the spider armor much before. Might come in useful here."
Yeah. I'm like, hey Peter, how about you ask the fact why your spider armor's in this random like air vent?
I don't know, Peter. Why you got backpacks all over the city? Why's the black costume webbed to the top of the Empire State Building, even though MJ burned it? I don't understand either.
Well, that's because of terrible writing, but
even though Back in Black is probably one of the better.
I mean, Black in Black is good.
It's got some issues.
They needed an excuse for him to put this, like, where he kept a spare version of the black costume.
I actually have quite a few issues of that, honestly. I bought them at Action Toy Man because they were.
I myself have like every single issue of that. Well, the amazing ones because there was Back in Black. You
gave me a couple of them, I think.
Did I? I thought I kept those.
Yeah, I think the only ones you haven't given me are those other slot ones.
All right, I need to find I need to remember to get those.
With a certain day, you'll know.
Yeah. But anyway, like I kind of love the armor just because like I like the fact that like it's basically the red and blue, but like where the red is, it's raised armor. I also love a lot of shows can't show it, but he actually has like spider knuckle dusters in the thing. Like he literally has little spiders that are like where like his knuckles are to like actually give more punch.
Basically, Spidey's version of Iron Knuckles.
Yeah. The only problem is it only lasts for one issue because it basically gets ripped apart by Dragon Man, which is hilarious because he's literally wearing his red and blue suit underneath it, which I'm like, okay. Yeah, like it basically the first issue it is in, it just gets.
I still remember when I picked that issue up because I found it at probably around. I want to say right around 2004. And I was on a family camping trip, and we stopped at a gas station, and they had a bunch of comic books, like older ones, and that was one of them. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's the Spider armor! I gotta buy this." And then I read it, and I was like, "This issue's kind of lame."
Yeah,
to be honest.
Well, to be fair, it's Web of Spider-Man.
I was kind of disappointed with it, but because I got that and a couple issues of Ben Reilly, which I was like, "Oh my god, there's Ben Reilly comics here. I've never had these before."
Yeah, Web of Spider-Man is not very good.
I have a soft spot for it, but it's up and down in quality.
Yeah. All right, moving on to number 2.
Which, remember, these are flip-flops.
Yeah, we have the Ben Reilly suit. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Tenguzu, we already did.
Yeah.
Ben Reilly.
No, we were talking about the Scarlet Spider Ben Reilly. We're talking about Ben Reilly's official Spider-Man outfit.
Otherwise known as the costume that Mayday Parker wears in Spider-Girl.
Yeah. I also can't blame you for putting this on here, which is this high, which I would have probably put this high just because
this is honestly like my favorite Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Besides the Raimi suit, which doesn't really count because that's just the blue and red.
I actually really like because it's a very different take. It's basically Ben's version of the traditional Spider-Man outfit.
You have the bigger spider on the chest.
That connects with the spider on the back.
The patterns are a little different.
Yeah. It's all red at the top instead of like red on the front and blue in the back. It's all red. I like the gloves with the different colored fingers. Again, keeping the bigger, bulkier web shooters on the outside. Only real complaint I have is the boots where like they're red on the outside.
I actually love those, honestly.
Well, they're just kind of weird to me because I'm like.
That's why I like it. It's an oddball.
It is. It's not bad odd for me. I just look at that. I'm like. What is the thought process on this, Ben?
Yeah, and again, while we call this the Ben Reilly suit, this is really the suit I identify more with being Mayday's because Mayday's worn it longer than Ben did.
I can't blame you for saying it. It's more Spider Girl than Ben. Because honestly, I think she wore it way longer.
She doesn't wear it anymore. She has a different costume now, but
that's disappointing.
Well, the costume she has now is a mixture of her dad's costume and Ben's. So like it's got like the typical belt, like kind of like the T basically, but then the boots are the same as the Reilly one, and it still has the outside web shooters.
Honestly, I wish Spider-Man would just incorporate the outside web shooters. I just like them so much more. They just make more sense to me. Like especially because you could have so many gadgets in it.
Impact webbing.
Impact
webbing in the PS4 game is the best thing ever.
Which is kind of hilarious because like they don't let him use it anymore. But like for like most of the 90s and early 2000s, like he had the impact webbing.
I wonder
In
why
fact, he had the
don't they let
stingers,
him
too.
use it anymore? Did we ever get an answer on why they don't let him use it?
I don't think they ever gave an answer.
They
for
just
what,
it was kind of just like a memo, like no more impact.
They just kind of forgot, really. I mean,
well,
I get
with how much they've tried to sweep Clone Saga underneath the rug. I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, I think it was more just because like it's so tied into the Clone Saga. They're just like, you know what? Let's just.
Well, and most people, more recent readers, probably associate Ben more with being the Jericho.
Yeah, well, the less said about Clone Conspiracy, the better. Thank you very much. Oh, but he's back to being like he's still evil in the Scarlet Spider stuff, guys.
Yeah, we
like they need
one
to
of these
fix
days
it
we need to do a. Probably just have to do a Slot retrospective. As much as I fucking hate the man.
Yeah, I mean,
that could be the Dan Slott hate video, the one I tag him in.
Yeah, I mean, mostly we'll just
as a big middle finger.
I more would rather just talk about. Well, I'd rather us do first the Brand New Day stuff because, like, I
still remember when I picked that up at Action Toy Man. You're like, you're gonna buy that? I'm like, yeah, it's only $1.
And then I'm like,
not?
all right, but I'm giving you most of the rest of it.
You gave me most of it. I picked up the ones that you didn't give me.
Because basically, Brand New Day was so bad. Because basically, they canceled every Spider title except Amazing and decided that Amazing was going to come out 3 times a month. 3 times a month.
I'm losing money hand over fist with this shit.
But the thing was, they wanted to have different writers for every story arc because they wanted to see who would be like who they could get.
This whole era is just fucking.
And keep in mind, they picked Dan because he was the least bad. The least bad.
I'm sorry. I know Slot's got fans out there, but I'm sorry. The dude to me is the worst Spider-Man.
You either
writer.
love him or you hate him. It boils down to, do you like the marriage or do you not? Because honestly,
fucking shit on my ship.
It's pretty much this.
That's how I am. I'm like, don't shit on my ship.
It's so funny how many people love Renew Your Vows, and I'm like, you obviously didn't read the original 3-issue mini.
I did. Yeah, I did. You can really see the subtext in that.
Yeah,
honestly, I don't think it's as bad as everybody makes it out to be. The subtext, like, if you know that he doesn't like it, and you read it, it's there. If you don't or ignore it.
But I think even though
unrecognizable.
I think even though it is that subtle, if you know Dan Slott, it just makes it worse because it literally is it feels like he's just like, see, this is why Spider-Man shouldn't be married because he'll become a crazy psychopath.
Well, you know what it is. He claims that him being married to MJ is it's unrealistic and it's un-Marvel like. Like he had this whole interview where he just did that. I'm like, you are the dumbest motherfucker in the planet.
Keeping Spider-Man from Mary Jane is the ultimate form of cuckery.
Well, like I get that people are like, oh well, Peter was a nerd in high school and he didn't meet, and nerds don't get hooked up with that. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but you're forgetting that he didn't meet MJ until he was in college. It makes more sense, but because nobody reads the comics and or acts like they have and they really haven't. People make these misassumptions and it pisses me off.
We're gonna need you to bottle that because this is not the time.
Oh, this is my soapbox now.
No, you're not Stanley. We're not doing that.
The doors are locked.
Let's move on to number one.
Not leaving.
Let's move on to number one.
That's gonna have to be a video at some point. I was ranting.
I guess you want to talk about some ones that you would.
Oh yeah, because I have a couple that I didn't put on here, but I think are pretty honorable mentions. One is obviously for me is the Captain Cosmic.
Oh yeah, that's really good. Like I know it's just the Captain Universe outfit over the with the Spider-Man mouth, but like
it just looks awesome.
It really does. Like it's such a simple thing, but it looks really good.
Sorry, go ahead.
For me, it would be the 4 Identity Crisis outfits he wears during the Identity Crisis storyline. I actually really love those outfits.
I don't remember those very well, but I know what one you're talking about.
So basically,
you show me the trade.
So basically, Spider-Man is wanted for murder. And in order to solve them, Peter realizes I'm going to have to try and figure this out. But like he can't go anywhere as Spider-Man because he'll basically get shot at. So he comes up with different identities that use different versions of it, like different aspects of his powers in order to get around it. You have Prodigy, who's super strong and super agile. You know, basically he's basically Superman, but like golden. You have the anti-hero Ricochet, who can bounce all over the place and has like these discs that he uses. You have the high-tech hero Yellow Jacket, or Black Jacket, who is like a Hornet guy, and he's super strong and he fires stingers and stuff. And then you have the sort of villain Dusk, who's black and can crawl along the walls. Like, I know a lot of people think that those costumes are kind of lame, but I really have a soft spot for him, and it was kind of cool to see
it's an oddball.
But it's cool to see Spider-Man in disguise.
Yeah.
And like later on, that costumes get taken by other characters and become the group known as Slingers, which was kind of neat, even though they were kind of awful. But I like seeing those costumes.
I've got two more. The Carnage Riley suit.
Oh, Spider Carnage. Oh, Spider Carnage is great. That's the whole reason I bought
They made a Funko of that, and I want it like really, really bad.
That's actually like the whole reason I bought the Ben Reilly Marvel Legends figure, because it comes with parts to make him Spider Carnage. Basically, Carnage, the symbiote gets pulled off of Cassidy. So I want to say this is actually right before Carnage gets sent into space by.
So is this before
Silver
Carnage
Surfer?
USA, or is it after?
Oh, this is way before Carnage USA. The Carnage USA didn't happen until like the early 20s.
Oh my bad. I thought it was. I thought it was 90s.
No, this.
Maybe I'm getting it. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, you're gonna mix up with Maximum Carnage. Basically, this. Basically, the Spider Carnage, the Carnage symbiote gets onto Ben, and because the Carnage symbiote is so messed up, after being bonded with Carnage, it drives Ben almost crazy. Like, I think he's only stopped because like someone hits him with a sonic gun and like completely blasts it off him.
Wouldn't surprise me if it's maybe Reed.
I think it might have been Reed.
It's probably Reed. Reed knows how to deal with this shit.
I had to go back and read the original Spider Carnage story, but it's a great look. And like,
I might actually have it in my hardback Riley omnibus.
It's just really cool to see like the Carnage symbiote latched onto Spider-Man, because it makes him look horrifying.
Oh, it really does. Like the yellow,
the big gaping mouth.
It's
the
fucking
talons.
horrifying. And the fact they were able to do that for the animated series is really ridiculous.
Like, Spider Carnage was nightmarish when I was a little kid. I'm like, oh my god, what happened to Spider-Man?
Carnage always used to give me the creeps when I was a kid, which was obviously the point, because he's a serial killer with a symbiote. You know, that's like a worst nightmare for anybody. But like, I never had that issue with Venom.
Oh no, Venom is,
and I always considered Venom a villain when I was a kid. I didn't do the lethal protector shit. I always just thought of him as a villain.
Venom's more just big and menacing. Like, but I don't really.
Carnage is just
where Carnage is like this lanky thing that can make it, like, you know, his hands can become blades and axes, and he has that creepy high pitched voice. Honestly, it's just the full package with Carnage. My other
one is this is a little bit of an oddity, as well as a little bit of a rarity, and it just actually came back into canon recently. At least I think it's canon. It was in a short, and you were actually there when I bought this comic. This is the original design for the symbiote with the red.
Oh yeah.
The red spider on the chest. For those who don't know, the original design for the symbiote suit that we all know and love, the white and black one, it actually had a red chest insignia, and I think red eyepieces.
Yeah, red eyepieces.
And it was designed by a fan who just sent it in, and Marvel liked it so much they bought it, and then later on they adapted it into the Venom costume.
Well, yeah, because basically, while a fan created the idea of the black suit, because it wasn't originally a symbiote, it was just a cloth costume Spider-Man was going to wear. Basically, he came up with the black suit, and by extension the symbiote.
And Marvel bought it.
It was really Ed Brubaker not Ed Brubaker. It was David. Yeah, I think it was David Michelin and Seth MacFarlane that really gave us Venom. And even then, I argue Todd kind of made Venom worse with the stupidly long jaw and the tongue with the green slobber.
I think he looks his most horrifying in the original appearance, when he scares MJ.
Well, because literally he's just a big, bulkier Spider-Man, but then all of a sudden he smiles and you see the teeth, and you're like, I'm gonna need you to back away.
Yeah, but this came back. There was a recent short in an issue of Spider-Man. I can't remember what that short was. I think it was. I don't think it was in Team Up Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but it was like a Spider-Man short, and it was actually written by Tom DeFalco.
Oh yeah.
I think it was penned by DeFalco and somebody
Tom
else.
also was pretty. He was pretty important in the creation of Venom too. But to be fair, I mean, like, Tom DeFalco, like, I love that man because, like,
Tom DeFalco doesn't get enough of a rep, honestly. Like, he's done a lot of good stuff.
He doesn't get enough rep because Marvel blames him for the Clone Saga.
I know, which is stupid.
Stupid, yeah.
It's not his damn fault.
I'd argue it's more
the marketing department.
It's more the marketing department and David and Hickman more than anything. But even I can't really blame Hickman too much either. He was given a task to do and he did it. So for my other honorable mention, I have to put the Iron Spider suit from Civil War, the original Iron Spider suit,
the yellow and gold,
the gold and red one, the Iron Man. Like,
I like that one actually.
It's actually
I'm not a big fan of either Iron Spider-Man, but that's the one I like the more.
I just like it because it's very simple. It's literally just a red suit with gold arm bands, the spider on the back, on the front, and the gold eyepieces,
and the mechanical,
and the Waldos. Like, it's simple, and it gets the point across that he's working for Iron Man. Like, and to be fair, I like it just because it was something new. I like the armor pieces. I think it worked for him. And it was so disappointing to me when we got the Iron Spider in Infinity War and Endgame, and it's literally just the traditional red and blues, but with some gold hints added on. I'm like, really?
That's so lame.
It really was, because I'm like, because it's made out of nanites, like the rest of the Iron Man stuff. It's the bleeding edge tech, so I'm like, you could have made it look like that. And then Far From Home, they show it.
Yeah, they tease it.
I'm like, don't cock tease me like that.
But unless you have another honorable mention, I think we should move on to our
that's
number
honestly it for me. And like you said, like I'm not saying I think he should have worn it forever, but like,
we forgot the ultimate Spider-Man costume,
the one that should have been
number one, and that is the bombastic bag man.
the Fantastic Four leotard and the paper bag.
I'm gonna get you for this, Johnny. I swear
to God. Oh man, we're Johnny. Just to be fair, that is iconic in its own right. But for real,
it's to the point they put it in the fucking PS4 game, which I'm like, what? My God, I've actually used it before too. It's funny as hell.
But all seriousness, the best Spidey suit ever is Spider-Ham. No, okay. The number one is the black suit, obviously.
You guys could probably have already guessed.
I mean,
it's the one that always tops the list. But to be fair, it's very well deserved.
Yeah, like it's so simple. It's just a black suit with the white tarantula logo on it,
the little white patches on the hands.
And, like, it's a classic. Like there's a reason why Spider-Man wore it throughout all of the 80s.
Yeah, even after he got the symbiote detached from him, Black Cat made him a cloth version because he thought it looked better.
Well, like the writers liked it so much, like he had to keep having it. Like
it's become so popular that like they keep bringing it back. And
yeah,
usually anymore when they bring it back, though, if Peter's putting that on, you know some shit's about to go down
because he's like, no.
All right,
I need to be scary right
now. Two examples of that are the Back in Black storyline from Amazing.
Yeah, where
which was Straczynski, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the last story Straczynski wrote before One More Day, and it's One More Day is weird because like it's arguable he wrote all of it, or he wrote the first two issues and then Quesada ghost wrote it. It's really confusing exactly how that works, but
that's what I think of when I think of it in modern times, as well as when it comes back in Renew Your Vows, because Peter got rid of his suit.
Yeah.
But MJ had, which is weird because MJ has a version of it hidden away.
Yeah,
which I'm like, MJ hates that suit to begin with.
Yeah, because
why does she keep a version for him? I don't know.
It's
maybe it's like a memento. I don't know.
But even then, like it's one of those ones where it's so classic. Like they when they do bring it back, they screw with it. It looks awful every single time they do. I don't know why they do that. Like I know there's like a version where like. It's kind of like Mayday's version of the symbiote, where it has like the weird eyepieces and like the
agent Venom looking one. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that symbol.
Like those are weird. I honestly,
I have a pin of that symbol on my vest for work.
If you're gonna bring him back in that costume, it has to be the traditional version of it because it just looks really good. It's sleek. It actually makes him look more like an actual like street level vigilante than he does in his red and blues. Because it was so popular. Like.
Even Mayday got a version.
Yeah, even
like she fought Venom with it, which is just amazing.
Like almost every Spider character goes through. It gets so popular. Every Spider character goes through like a black suit version, anyways. Like
even MJ does in Renew Your Vows.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen.
She actually gets the symbiote.
Yeah, Spider-Gwen with Gwenom. I don't know if Miles has ever gotten like a symbiote, but that's just
there's a Carnage version.
Yeah, there's a Carnageized. To the point where Flash Thompson gets the suit and becomes Agent Venom.
Oh, we've forgotten the ultimate version of this suit. The perfect version is obviously the one in Spider-Man 3.
No, it's not.
I love that suit. I don't care what you say.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if
it's just the normal suit,
but
But
black?
it's fucking black. Well, the thing that gets me is I've brought this up before in other videos, I'm sure, but the behind the scenes of Spider-Man 3 book actually shows other designs they had like done, like test. They had the original comic accurate one there, so they obviously screen tested it.
Well, it bothers me so much because Alex Ross made a Spider-Man costume for this series. In fact, that Alex Ross version is in this PS1 game because they were like, that's what we're going to use. And Sam Raimi is like, no, I like it, but I really want to go with something much more traditional to Spider-Man, which is why we got the Sam Raimi suit, which is pretty much just
perfection.
Which is pretty much perfection.
It's fucking perfection.
Well, I like it.
In my opinion, it's perfection.
The only thing it's something people have brought up to me. I don't like the fact that you can see like these little greaves all over it, like to give it more of a.
I like that. I thought you were gonna go for the eyepieces. I love the eyepieces. For me, I love the more pointed eyepieces.
Honestly, for me, it's just the fact they had to give an extra bit of texture, and it's not like it bothers me. It's more somebody was like, it's perfect. But what if I added my own little touch to it? Because I'm Hollywood. But
getting back to the symbiote suit, again, I've always loved the suit. When I was a kid, this was actually my favorite Spider-Man suit before I started reading Spider-Girl. Like, this was the one I was like, man, like... Because, like, while the red and blues are a classic, that's what you think when you think Spider-Man. The black suit is just... I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's just sexy.
Yeah.
It's fucking sexy.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's black. That's
gonna be our new thing. We're gonna get shirts. Remember the hyphen. It's just fucking sexy.
Remember the hyphen. It's just fucking sexy. Apparently, that's a thing now.
I'll make those shirts. Give me some. I'll commission them shirts. It's just fucking sexy.
I don't think Lee's gonna make those shirts for us.
I know somebody that can.
But
fucking mortified viewers. Oh God, are they gonna hand this out?
We're gonna hand this out.
Cody would wear one.
Remember the hyphen?
Cody would wear one every time he's on here. It's just fucking sexy. Quote of the year for me.
Well, there's a reason why, and yes, Mr. Wayne, it comes in black is a thing. Like
black is just it's such a good costume color.
Like, and not only that, like.
And I think it makes the white symbol stand out all the more.
Well, not only that, like imagine you're like some mugger and you're run down alley after you stole a purse.
In the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, you just see that spider in the eyes. You'd be like,
I'm scared. I'm
gonna leave the purse. Whatever you are, scary demon. I'm gonna go back the way I came.
Well, and it's again, since I actually own a costume of this.
Yeah.
I think I even told you like the first time because like I had a day off when it came in, and I put it on. I was texting you about it. I was like, bro, this is the coolest fucking $50 I've ever spent.
I couldn't blame you because that black suit, I honestly argue that no Spider-Man fan could argue with us that this has to be number one because it's the most
iconic after the red and blues.
Like for God's sakes, even Spider-Ham has made jokes about him having to wear a black and white costume.
It was besides the Raimi suit. I feel like it was the most requested suit for the PS4 game that we didn't get.
Yeah,
but they're saving it.
Well, that's because it's gonna be a plot point too in Spider-Man 2.
They're saving it for Spider-Man
PS4
2.
Spider-Man 2.
I guarantee you they're saving it.
There's no other way. Especially because the symbiote's gonna be so important in that game if the ending of that's anything to go by. And I also argue it's why there's so many black versions of characters' costumes. Like Deadpool got the symbiote in his in a retcon that says that the reason the symbiote's so crazy is because it was bonded to Deadpool first because he time traveled. Because time travel. There's a bunch of times where Deadpool time travels and mucks up Spider-Man's history for some reason or makes it work. Like he wears a hologram disguise as Aunt May.
You unmasked my beautiful boy.
You messed my beautiful boy. Again, Gwenom when she got her own version of the symbiote with. To be fair,
her costume now is actually a symbiote.
Oh,
yeah, it actually is a symbiote. Like, because there's a thing now where she's like, I don't buy clothes because the symbiote just makes. So
it just doesn't want to bond with her or like.
I'm pretty sure it's bonded to her, but it's not. It's not like. It's over 65, so it's.
Okay, it's so like the symbiote because it's. I guarantee.
Well, and again, they bring it back for Ultimate Spider-Man.
Well, I also guarantee you that like when they do Spider-Verse versus the Venom-verse, that's going to be important.
Well, I don't know if it's. I don't think the Spider-Verse one is the. Are you talking about the comic, or are you talking about
the comic? Like, because sooner or later they're going to have
Venomverse. The comic is definitely a thing. With the Spider-Verse movie, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't.
Sorry, I should have. When they finally get desperate enough and they do Spider-Verse versus the Venomverse, that's going to be a plot point.
Oh, definitely. But again, they bring it back for Ultimate Spider-Man to the point it was the premise of an entire game that was directly tied into the comics. And to understand the game, you had to read the comic, and to understand the comic after a point, you had to to understand what happened to Venom in the comic. You had to play the game.
Oh my god,
that makes it hard to follow that.
Especially because it's so hard to get that game because it was a GameCube game. So it
was a PS2 game as well.
It was a PS2 game.
PS2, DS. GameCube.
That they might be.
I want to say Xbox.
I don't think it's ever been re-released as the only thing.
No, it's never been. It can't be because it's Activision. Activision owns the rights.
It's Activision.
Yeah, Activision had all the rights, and when they lost all the Spider-Man rights, they removed all the Spider-Man stuff they had from stores. That's why.
That is some.
That's why, as someone who has all of the Activision Spider-Man games, the DLC for the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, you can't get it anymore because it's not on the store. They took it away when the rights went away because they weren't going to make any more money on it, so they just took it off.
But yeah, and like I said, that's why there's so many black alternate version costumes. It's just a great idea.
It's undeniably one of the most popular ones as well.
No,
I mean, that's if you were to have a fan poll, write in what is your favorite Spider-Man suit? That's not the normal one.
Yeah,
it's gonna be the symbiote.
It's gonna be the black suit. The black suit is gonna be there every single time.
There's an entire cult of fans that just follow the symbiotes.
Yes, no, like the symbiotes are popular because of that black costume, in my opinion. Like you can't have Venom without, well, apparently with Sony you can, but I still call bullshit. but yeah, no, it's just.
It's that iconic.
It's just that iconic.
It's fucking sexy.
I can't. I can't. I mean, Black Cat certainly thought so. Hence why she made him the cloth one. Yeah. Which Peter kept wearing even after he got married to Mary Jane. I'm like,
you sly motherfucker.
You gonna explain to her that you're wearing your ex's clothes, a gift that your ex made?
I like how they address that. They address him wearing the costume when he comes back from Secret Wars, because that's where he actually gets this from. For those who don't know, we've talked about it before. But in Spider-Man Life Story, they actually bring this up because he disappears when MJ is pregnant with the twins,
right? And
he reappears after she gives birth. He's been missing for I think a good couple months.
Yeah, because Secret Wars happens right around the time.
Yeah, and so when he comes back, he's got the black costume on. He goes back home, and he's like, MJ, I'm home. And she is scared shitless at first. Yeah. She's like, who the hell are you? Yeah, he's like, whoa,
it's me. No, I do love that because he's like, oh my god, there's some creepy black Spider-Man. And Peter's like, no, babe, it's me.
Well, and it kind of mirrors Spider-Girl when May gets her costume and she comes home and MJ hears her coming in, like, oh, May's here. Goes upstairs, sees the black costume and just immediately fucking loses it. Like, no, Mom,
it's me.
And Peter's like, what the fuck are you wearing? Peter's like, come on, man, I've had enough of this.
This is the first time she wear it. It's a cloth one she had to buy because her other one gets trashed.
Her other one gets trashed and she buys it and at first she's like, because nobody's told her about it. She's fought Venom, but it's never been brought up what Venom did to MJ.
Well, not only that, it's the comic because basically Peter and MJ don't want her to be Spider-Girl. So
they just don't talk about stuff. So May comes home and she's like, man, I got this awesome new costume. I can't wait for Mom and Dad to see it. And MJ sees it and just screams. She's like, no, what have you done with my daughter?
And Peter's like, what the hell are you wearing? No daughter of mine is going.
May actually actually rips the mask off her. She's like, look, it's me. I'm sorry.
I didn't. You guys don't talk.
And then it's humorous later, because she's like, great, now I have a trash costume with a complete mask. And a non-trash costume, but a trashed mask. So she wears the black costume with the normal. And it looks so fucking.
It looks so cobbled together. It reminds me of that time in Iron Man where his armor gets destroyed. So he has all these pieces from his various villains, and he just puts it all on himself. In fact, he has a Doctor Doom cloak that he wears over it. I'm like, what are you doing? That cloak doesn't have any abilities. It's just a cloak he wears. But I think basically we've come to the
yeah. So that's our top 10 Spider-Man suits. Do you agree with some of them? Do you disagree? Are there some that we didn't mention that you really love? Make sure to drop a comment.
Yeah, we could have talked about his anti-electro rubber suit that he has, which also showed up in the PS4 game.
We obviously want to talk about the what is it?
The best version of Spider-Man is the What If, where he's the Punisher and he has machine gun.
Talking about the Ghost Rider one.
Oh my god, I don't even know what that's from because I've never seen that in the comics.
I've read what it's from. I can't remember, but
like where he literally is just like a white
Rider.
outfit and his head's on fire.
Just like, if I saw that, I'd be like, I give up. Just kill me. Just kill me. I'm done.
I'm done. I'm good. Let's
that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, I'm Vault Reviews here.
I'm Zongetsu134. Be sure to look forward to our next episode where we talk about Green Arrow Escape from Supermax in the next episode of Raiders of the Lost Script.
And as always, we ask you, remember the hyphen and take care.